Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Does this count as an emotional affair? Is this relationship worth salvaging? Hi all. Sorry for the long post. This will be about one of a few emotional affairs that my boyfriend potentially had, and I wanted to explain every detail of the story. This one was the worst of them, and I wanted to get insight and other perspectives on whether or not it counts as emotional infidelity, and whether or not the relationship is worth salvaging. Background: my boyfriend, 20 meters, and I, 19F, have been dating for a year. We're long distance and see each other every 3 months or so. Starting in August, we'll be a lot closer in distance and we'll be able to meet up weekly. He is my first everything, and I am his second girlfriend. He only dated his ex for 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm his first real relationship. We're both virgins. He has a porn addiction that has been going on since his childhood. He told me about his addiction a month into our relationship. We met on an online server in March 2021, and after dating online for 4 months, text and FaceTime, we met each other in person. It all went very well. We planned to see each other again in a few months. This initial meeting happened in July. In August and September, he started to seem off. I had a feeling it was because he relapsed with porn, as he's usually a bit off after relapses. It was because of that, but months later I found out it wasn't the only reason. For example, I asked him if I could visit him in October. I thought he'd be so excited for me to visit, but when I asked to visit, he only responded with "sure if you want, haha." This felt insulting, as he seemed to care less if I visited or not. Throughout August and September, there were days where he wouldn't even reach out to me. I assumed it was the porn. I ended up visiting in October after he later showed a bit more enthusiasm. During this October visit, he cried to me one night saying I was lonely during my trip last month, and was considering asking my female friend, who I find attractive and have never hung out with before, to hang out. I never imagined doing anything inappropriate with her since I'm with you, but I feel bad for even thinking of asking her to hang out since I find her attractive. I was very suspicious that he cried over simply considering asking her to hang out if there was nothing else to it. I felt like there was more to this he didn't tell me about. After a life-changing event that happened to him during our next meeting in January, he told me he loved me for the first time. A month later in February, he confessed to me all of the mistakes he made in the relationship. He confessed so much to me, to the point where I could barely process it. One of these confessions being about the girl mentioned in the above paragraph. Let's call her Kat. I didn't know of Kat's existence until February, 1 month ago. My boyfriend met Kat on Reddit in August. He didn't know Kat was a girl initially, as they met on a political-related server and discussed politics-related stuff in Reddit DMs. Later, they exchanged Instagrams and he found out she was a girl. He thought she was very attractive, I assume more attractive than he thought I was based on context. They continued talking and building a friendship after exchanging instas. In September, he drove 6 hours to attend a political protest on his own, and slept overnight at his male friend's apartment. By coincidence, this was the city that Kat lived in. He neglected me for most of this trip, didn't answer most of my texts. I assumed he was busy driving, protesting, and spending time with his male friend. I got suspicious when I saw him very active on Instagram and Discord, as he clearly had the time to simply write "thank you" when I texted him to drive safely and enjoy his trip. I found out in February that he asked Kat to go to the protest with him, one-on-one. She replied saying she couldn't go with him since she was busy that day. He still ended up going by himself. He considered asking her to hang out the next day when he was lonely, but didn't go through with it. When my boyfriend initially cried to me in October, he completely hid the fact that he did ask her to go to the protest with him the day before. That counts as asking her to hang out, which means he lied to me in October. In February, my boyfriend also confessed to me that he was considering leaving me for Kat back in September. He said he stayed with me because he enjoyed the friendship between him and I, and that he was too scared to tell me about Kat and to break up with me. Now I know exactly why he wasn't enthusiastic when I offered to visit him. It lines up exactly with when he was considering ending our relationship to be with her. There were no inappropriate messages exchanged between the two of them. The only thing bordering inappropriate was when he said he was moving next year, and how she should fly over and visit him so they could hang out. It just seems awfully suspicious to want to hang out with a female friend who you find more attractive than your own girlfriend. He told me he didn't even think of doing anything inappropriate with her, since he's with me. During his confession, He told me how bad it sounded to ask her to visit him and hang out, but claimed to not realize it at the time. He relied on Kat emotionally when he should have been relying on me, his own girlfriend, instead. He reached out to her when he was lonely, relied on her about his feelings, and leaned on her emotionally throughout their friendship, which lasted from August to October, I believe. He should have reached out to me when he was sad and lonely, rather than relying on other girls who he never told me about. My boyfriend claims he was socially stupid and didn't mean to be malicious, but I'm not sure I buy this. I want to make it clear that him and Kat never met up in person. I also never found out whether or not she reciprocated interest in him. My boyfriend definitely crossed boundaries, but I wanted to see if others think this counts as a legitimate emotional affair. After confessing in February, he apologized profusely and assured he would never do something like this again. After our visit in January, he realized I'm the girl he wants to marry one day. He apologized for ever thinking about any other girl, and for all of the horrible things he did to me. He promised to be a better man from now on, the man that I deserve. He also promised I'm the only girl he wants now. He's given up porn too, both to better himself and our relationship. As of today, he's approaching being 3 months clean from porn. His communication has improved, and he's been a better boyfriend to me. He got me a thoughtful and sweet anniversary gift, and I can tell in his heart that he truly wants to be a better man. He unfollowed Kat and cut contact. He hasn't talked to her in months and doesn't plan to ever again. We have new boundaries and are working on our relationship. I don't have tolerance for anything like this to ever happen again. If it does, I will break it off immediately. I'm not sure if the damage is done, or if it's worth trying to salvage this relationship. There are many qualities I that absolutely love about him, that will be very difficult to find in other guys. Currently, I'm giving him a second chance. Thank you very much to anyone who read this far. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Cheating is cheating. I mean, yeah, it's an emotional affair. One of your paragraphs points out he was leaning on her and hiding her from you. He could have been leaning on you. LDR, an emotional affair is not a good place to be. More than likely they have consummated the affair. You're not there, you have to trust what he says. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.